Catholic History Radio.
Hi, I'm John with Carter and Nick, and welcome to the Catholic Insight Show, our podcast. And today we'll be focusing on the religious sect, the Essenees. Today we'll take you through the general context of the Essenees. We have a special guest on the show today as well. We have Elijah Morris, a historian who will be informing us on life as an Essenee during the time of Jesus. Let's welcome him to the podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here today. Over the course of around 30 years, I have been researching the Essenees and have been gathering information. I have been to the region where they used to live, and I was able to find a document. This document has told me a lot about what life was like during the time of the Essenees. I also have done extensive research on the Dead Sea Scrolls to find out interesting facts about the Essenee lifestyle and culture.
Before we drown you in questions about the Essenees, it is important that we establish some facts about religious sects in general. According to specific sources, a religious sect is formed to protest against or reform elements of a parent religion while maintaining similar beliefs and practices. So, who were the Essenees? When did they exist? And how did they live their lives every day?
Well, the Essenees were celibates, and were in existence from the 2nd century BC to the 2nd century CE. They were a people that lived in monasteries and small communities, and they believed in doing good actions for one another. Also, they tended to wear simple clothes and live off the land, which was considered a desert region.
We gathered some other information that the Essenees also believed in the immortality of the soul, and also condemned slavery and prohibited trading. Why did they do this? They also avoided luxury and forbade oaths and untruthfulness. With one exception of an oath they took after 2 years of probation. What was this oath?
Yeah, so the Essenees condemned slavery and prohibited trading because it led to cheating and coveting, which was a sin against God. And the one exception in regards to oaths was that the Essenees made invited members pledge to a number of things, including piety towards God, promising justice to men, maintaining honesty with their fellow Essenees, agreeing to preserve the sect's secrets, and to uphold the proper teachings of the beliefs of their group.
Also, what were the major beliefs of the Essenees? How did this compare to other religious groups in Jesus' time? Did they have any specific rituals?
The major belief of the Essenees was that God's salvation would come in the form of a catastrophic event, something similar to an apocalypse, whereas other major sects of this time believed differently, such as the Pharisees, who believed that the Messiah would come if the people maintain a strict observance of the law, or the Sadducees, who believed in conservative church values and only accepted the Torah. The Essenees were similar to groups like the Sadducees and Pharisees in certain areas, like spiritual purity, and they practiced rituals like baths and other purification ceremonies.
The Essenees are considered the religious sect all about the apocalypse. Why were they so interested in this topic?
In fact, the Essenees were obsessed with this possible apocalypse, so much so that they were constantly looking for signs and potential locations of where this event could actually happen. They believed this major event would happen sometime during their life. In the meantime, they focused on living very pure lives so that when the event happened, God would find them worthy.
What do you mean by God would find them worthy? Was this because God would determine their judgment, and they believed Judgment Day would be coming in their lifetime?
Actually, yes. They believed that if they lived good enough lives, they would make it into God's kingdom. An example of how the Essenees decided to live their lives morally was that they lived their lives in a non-violent way, so that when God would judge them, he would see no sin. For example, they decided to avoid the practice of manufacturing weapons to resist the temptation of going into war.
However, the influence of Persian and Hellenistic values were found in the Essenes' thoughts on violence and warfare, leaving historians in question about the Essenes. What are your thoughts on the Essenes' place in nonviolence and how the Persians and Hellenists influenced them?
There actually doesn't seem to really be any proof that the Essenes were violent. Although the Persians and Hellenists attempted to influence the Essenes, I don't believe that they, as an entire sect, would change their values as a whole because of this. Maybe a very small percentage of them would go into violence because of certain harsh decisions, but it was very unlikely.
As you can see, the Essenes were a very non-violent and sinless sect who attempted to reach salvation through following commandments and not committing any sin.
They compared to Jesus with his nonviolent ways of spreading teachings to others and living a poor lifestyle by avoiding luxury and the highest comfort.
We also learned the importance of the knowledge of the apocalypse in their lives and how it affected their actions. We are very thankful that you could be here, Elijah, to answer all of our questions, and we hope to have you on the show again another time.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really hope I was able to provide some good insight on the lives of the Essenes.
This has been the Catholic Insight Show, and we will see you tomorrow.